to confirm the general resurrection before your passion. You resurrected Lazarus from the dead, O Christ.
We are on a journey. That's the theme. And today is all about this preparation that we see the Lord providing for his disciples as he's about to descend into his passion. But as we prepare for this journey, I want to tell you a few things about how we'll be making this journey together. We'll be focusing on the icon of the day as the homily topic. So the first is understanding the division. So we see that even though Jerusalem is welcoming the Lord as the Messiah, as the King, with palms and putting down garments for his colt to walk on, that the iconographer understands the division between the disciples and the Jews who will eventually be screaming, "Crucify him, crucify him." In today's gospel, Christ talks to his disciples about the end times. And there's been so much going on in our world that is uncomfortable for us that the word end times has been used a lot. But I'd like to focus simply on the question, if it were the end times, am I ready to meet the Lord? That's a hard question. Because if the answer is yes, there's a follow-up question. Do I really know my own brokenness? The outcome of this healing is twofold. Physical, if it be God's will, and spiritual. And the hymns and the prayers today emphasize this need for spiritual healing. That if it is not God's will that we be physically healed, the suffering that we experience is for our spiritual healing. And we have to be able to accept that suffering for it to be a worthy offering to him. And so we see that when the faithful gather together on Holy Wednesday, the sacrament has been placed here to prepare us in the same way that Holy Confession prepares us for the Eucharist. Holy Unction prepares us for the Eucharist of Eucharists, and that is the Vesperal Divine Liturgy of Holy Thursday of the Mystical Supper. And as we proceed into the Passion of Christ, we start to feel emotion. We read in the Gospel reading about our Lord in the Garden of Gethsemane, and this evening we prepare to endure just in our minds and in our hearts the torture that our Lord undergoes on his way to crucifixion. And he gathered the whole battalion before him, and they stripped him and put a scarlet robe upon him, and plaiting a crown of thorns, they put it on his head, and put a reed in his right hand. And kneeling before him, they mocked him, saying, "Hail, King of the Jews!" And they spat upon him, and took the reed and struck him on the head. When it was evening, there came a rich man from Arimathea named Joseph, who also was a disciple of Jesus. He went to Pilate and asked for the body of Jesus, when Pilate ordered it to be given to him. And Joseph took the body and wrapped it in a clean linen cloth, and laid it in his own tomb, which he had hewn out of the rock. And he rolled a great stone to the door of the tomb and departed. Mary Magdalene and the other Mary were there, sitting opposite the sepulchre. You'll notice that while the placard still is purple, the color of Holy Week, the color of penitent, the priest's vestments have transitioned to white. And so when does this point happen? When do we start to feel the resurrection happening? Well, it all starts with one word, telesete. It is finished. And this is the final word that our Lord issues before giving up his soul. And the moment that our Lord gives up his soul and his spirit descends into Hades, the work is finished. We will join the apostles and disciples in grieving his death with the lamentations, while already knowing the work has been done because we know how the story ends. Isoi entafo katetethis Christe ke angelon strati exelitondo sincatavas indoxasos setin sin.
Nesir, megalinin seton zoendotin, tonendos stavrotas hieras sectinanda, kesin ripsanda to kratos tu ekthru.
Εγένε πάσε υμνοτήτα φύσου προσφέρουσι Χριστέ μου.
Today, as we see in the icon here, our Lord busts open Hades, and all of those who from the time of Adam and Eve until the resurrection had fallen asleep, had died, who were not able to enter into the kingdom of heaven, they are now actively pulled out. And the noise of the breaking of the chains is something we celebrate even in a physical sense in our own churches. Christ is the light. Christ is the one who shows us and guides us, and his light counters the darkness of evil. When we have evil in our lives and in our hearts, we are alone. When we have light, we can see.
Has reign.
risen from